right, welcome to the Tolleson-Mack podcast. Brandon, Caesar. We don't know where the other Brandon is. He left us. We're still at the Lazy Eat, but we got Billy Myers over here, the guy who puts this whole deal on, huh?
I don't know. I guess
The
so.
boss.
The
They say I've been in
boss.
charge of it. I've just kind of been running around doing
Well,
my
we
own
damn
thing.
sure been running around. We've been sitting up here watching you, going, man, that guy probably sleeps well at night because he get worn out when he gets there.
Billy, talk to the people listening and watching about what it goes into making, coming up with this idea and then having the dream come to life over here, like the work that goes into this stuff.
I mean, like the dream part of it was like when we, kind of saw the American rope horse Futurity stuff take off. Like it was just something I was more interested in it than like rodeos, jackpot, because it was about the horse. And I really enjoyed getting to see the rope horse get some recognition in the championship ring, and the way that's evolved over the years. Like more or less, I kind of just wanted to be a part of it, and I developed the format to just spread the money out a little bit more and like get some more horse names out there. So like bloodlines, lineages. I was super pumped because Team Rope and Journal did their rundown of the event yesterday, and they listed the full short round, so all 16 teams made it back, and all of the pedigrees of the horses and the competitors. And that was really how I had envisioned it. I wanted to see some more horse names out there and some more lineages, so these people can kind of start looking into the bloodlines and training for rope horses, or just knowing what to look for in genetics in a rope horse. And like, I think the coolest thing you saw here today was like you saw Billy Jack helping on DT Sugar Check's Wiz yesterday. You also saw the dark side drew out, but the dark side is by or out of DT Sugar Check's Wiz. And then we also have a horse in our sale that's by DT Shiner, who is a stud by or out of DT Sugar Check's Wiz. So you're actually getting to start to see the foundation of a mare lineage that is a dominant force in genetics for rope horses. And you haven't seen that before, but I think it's kind of cool how you're starting to see it happen.
Caesar always talks about the mares.
Oh, it's the mares.
They get a lot of their personality and kind of the demeanor from the mare.
So why don't you walk the listeners down the format of this deal, right? Yesterday we were the head horses. Today we're the heel horses. We got a preview tonight.
Yeah, we got a little sale party and a preview, and that's just going to be kind of a get-together deal. Like, essentially, we're just going to have open riding in the arena. The sale horses are going to be roping in there with their lot numbers on, and we just want it to be like a relaxed environment so the buyers have the ability to talk to the consigners about the horses.
I will say this, and I was telling you off screen, this is the first time I've ever been to any Futurity like this, right? Plenty of bull ridings.
Right.
Plenty of, rope-ins and stuff like that, but never Futurity. But that is one thing I'll compliment you on for sure, is the vibe of this place. Like, everybody's cool. Like, you just, you talk to anybody. We stopped you, asked you a couple questions. You took time to answer them. Everybody here seems really cool. Huge shout out to Chelsea. I think Chelsea at the Team Rope and Journal does an awesome job.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of things, like if people don't realize that this wouldn't really be in the place it is if it wasn't for Chelsea and her interest in the horse part of this. And I mean, she was up at Rock Springs 2 weeks ago, sat there from 7 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock at night, taking pictures, interviewing people.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of information that needs to get out for the people that raise the horses.
And that's what I always try to say. They did a little interview with us in the Team Rope and Journal, and that's one thing I was quoted on. It's the only sport in the world where a normal guy can rope with the pros.
Yeah.
I don't get to play football with the NFL guys, but I get to rope with Caesar, or, you catch one of these guys and, hey, you guys put any schools on, and they would tell you. But that is one thing I definitely want to compliment you on. Besides just the look and the coolness of the whole place, it's the vibe, man.
Thank you.
It really means a lot for us to come here, and I think you're going to draw in the crowd of people for your sale, for that as you go forward, because sometimes you go to these things and you're so intimidated by the pros and the guys walking around, and you don't want to approach them. You don't want to be like, you don't want to say something stupid about their horse, or like, they start rattling off this name and that name, and you just like, look, I don't know. I don't want to approach the dudes, but everybody here was stop, talk to you. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, that was kind of our goal with it, and our whole team. Like, we all just talked about how, like, our goal was we wanted to be a very open, friendly environment and be accommodating. We wanted to accommodate our contestants. We wanted to accommodate our consigners. We want to accommodate our sponsors. We want to accommodate everyone that comes to this event as a guest. And that I really think that we accomplished that.
Well, yeah, I think you've done a great job at it.
It makes the whole event go over better because if everybody's having a good time, the ropers are usually having a better time. They're happy about the cattle. The whole overall feel of the event is super important when it's all said and done.
And speaking on the horses a little bit, I met a guy named Todd from Texas. He's actually getting up over there behind Craig. But I was talking to him, and he says, it means so much for me to sit here and watch these horses perform before the sale. Because day one is one thing. Day two is something else. Day three is something else. You know what I mean? He says, I get to see, can this horse take it? And,
well, and Slick Robinson, he has a horse in the sale, Tough Desires. He's lot 51. Might be 50, I can't remember, but he just won the High Point heel horse today. So he won a coat saddle. Him and Billy Jack rode him. So that we had a sale horse win the High Point saddle today. And like,
now what's that tell you about this sale?
Well, that's a nice horse, but the biggest thing about all of that is I wanted it all to work together. Like I wanted to have the Futurity available for these guys to be able to show them in the Futurity away from the preview. The preview's controlled. That's not controlled. Like there's still a million variables that can happen. And people, like he said, that's valuable to the buyer. Like they can see how they work in a pressure environment.
Yeah, I mean he's sat here, he's sat behind us, like I said, yesterday, today. We've talked to him kind of on and off, and he's watching certain horses that are going to be in the sale, and he wants to see how they perform. I mean that's so much to me, so much more valuable than watching a badass horse come in a sale ring and spin a circle. Okay, that's cool. Not taking nothing away from that.
Yeah.
But we can sit here and watch them work.
And the consigners that saw value in that, they put their horses in the Futurity because they knew it was a division Futurity, and maybe some of them were a little green, but they knew that they didn't have to go max them out. They didn't have to make them look better than they were. Just go rope on them, show them for what they are, and then end up in division.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean that's like Brandon Brown's horse, Love the Ladies. He came here. Tanner Baldwin rode him. You guys can speak on him a little bit.
Love the Ladies is a good horse. He's a big, strong horse, and like these steers were set up for his style. Horse scores good, runs hard, fresh steers. So Billy getting the cattle situated over here for that.
I would say I'd give Zane a little more credit on that.
Dude, let's talk.
I told him what he wanted. I told him what I wanted, and I will be. I mean, like this sucker, he comes with exactly what I want. Like there is no ifs, ands, buts about it. I said I want this and I want this. And
I can say this because Brandon Brown ain't sitting here, but that's probably the best set of steers I've ever seen.
Best set of steers.
To allow a horse to work, you know what I mean? You have to have good quality cattle.
They were even, like especially we had in the head yesterday. There was only 2 no times in the first round, and there was 0 reruns in all 3 rounds. 0 reruns.
You're
like
right.
that shows you what kind of set of cattle that was.
Yeah.
Great production, I'm telling you, it's top notch all the way around.
So on a horse like that, Love the Ladies horse, right? Owned by Brandon and Karina Brown out of Tolleson, Arizona. They're kind of the cool part about this. They can own the horse. Tanner rides it, enters it in these maturities, and it gets some exposure. And, I think they went to Scottsdale. Then they entered at Scottsdale. They entered it here. Is that where you kind of see the horse game going a little bit? Like some
I think there's going to be
not the Dakotas and the Caesars and the Trevors and the Miles, all those guys. Some other guys get to own some horses and have some badass.
Yeah, and they get to come show up and watch the horse compete, and I mean it's their money up. So at the end of the day, they're getting to win.
They're vested.
Something. Yeah, they're vested. They get to win something. It makes them excited about the event. I mean, it's kind of like when you watch the NFR. Like we've all watched the NFR 1.5 million times, but I mean, if you throw $100 in that pro fantasy rodeo, like you're watching.
You're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
you're on the game.
I think it's going to be a little bit of both. I think you're going to see a lot more people get into the Futurity game for the purpose of sending them to the trainers and getting to go watch them, being proud of your horse. And you're going to see a lot. You're seeing a lot of also, owner riders get into it that want to train their own, take them to stuff like this, take them to Riata Buckle, take them to Royal Crown. All the formats that are going at these Futurities right now are all different from each other. So there's literally something different for everyone.
Yeah,
and that's what kind of makes it pretty enjoyable is not everybody has to go to every Futurity. They can actually pick and choose where they go now and they can also pick and choose what horses they go to based on what the setups are and what's going to work best in those setups.
And I seen that on your, I think you went live on Facebook like a week or 2 ago or something, and you explained the judging. You're going to throw out the top and the bottom, and the timer is going to be the third judge, essentially, things like that.
So we have 4 judges, like 4 live human being judges. and we drop the high score, drop the low score, and we average the time with the score. And when I was looking at the scores come in, throughout the week, like you're not seeing the huge gaps unless that horse just absolutely overperformed, which is what we kind of saw with Trevor Brazil yesterday. And the gap from him was like a 4-point gap, but then it like kind of got back to pretty even after that. And that's what I'm really enjoying, is seeing like the progression of how that's working and how the scoring system is working and accurately placing the horses where they're supposed to be.
I think that's we talked a little bit before we started, but to watch these big high number headers and stuff like this, like yesterday in the heading, where they got to run down there and they wrote this steer anywhere else in the world in 2 swings, right? But they're showing that horse,
Yep.
So they're roping these 3/4 of the way down the arena and really setting them up real nice for the healer.
Yep.
That's just so cool to see this is where the cream rises to the top. I mean, because these guys are professionals in what they do. They know what they're after.
They're using their head, like they're
using their brain.
They are. I mean, I thought one of the craziest things I saw today is we offer a buyback round here, and I saw Cole Davison, his helper, take Herkenschlager broke out and he let go of his rope. And I was like, that is smart, because he, instead of taking the penalty, he was able to go buy back and get another chance.
Yeah, I seen Trevor ride in the box, and it. Like they called him and everything, and he was getting ready to go, and then they just scored him.
Oh, he'd actually taken a no time on that horse around before, so he just wanted to go train. He just wanted to score, and
that's what I like about it. It's a different deal over here.
Yeah,
it's all about the horse out here.
Yeah,
that was kind of
I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, it takes a lot, right, for them guys to keep that rope in their hand.
They realize that by doing that, it's just that this is a high pressure situation.
Shout out to Classic Ropes.
What's up, Fish?
They're going to put that pressure on them, and then to take him to a show like this, and what they did was score. That allows that horse to know that, hey, when we come in these high pressure situations, he's only a 4-year-old horse too, probably, right?
I think he was maybe, which one? That was a step in small town. Yeah, he's only 4.
So he's just a baby still. So that right there made them wheels turn on that horse's brain. It's like, okay, I got to sit here every time, no matter where we go.
I would like to, again, give Zane a little credit based on what you guys were talking about in the heading yesterday. He brought a set of steers that were lighter. I bet they were weighing like around 400, 450. So the thing that really makes those guys do is they have to stand their horses up. Like, otherwise, you're knocking them down. So, I mean, it was like the most genius way to cut cattle I've ever seen, because he thought about every part of that, which was also like, okay, if they duck them out, they're going to knock these down. Like, they had to rope them, set their horse up, and handle them. And
make them look good.
Yep, nothing too fast. And another thing we did, and I had Trevor give me a call yesterday, and he said, this is the first Futurity, and maybe it was Miles, I can't remember, but one of them. This is the first Futurity I've ever been to where my horse felt better on the third steer than the first steer. So between the smaller cattle, there's a little friendlier setup, and I mean, it was still not an easy score. You still had to see something, but it wasn't going to gut your horse. And then the steers being lighter, it wasn't hard on those horses. They didn't lose the confidence. They didn't take the hits.
Evolution of the game, right?
Yeah.
You guys are taking all these things from these other ones and trying to straighten it up.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say straighten it up. I think we're just trying to offer a different format. And that's the beauty of what I see with it, is like everybody offers something different, which makes it to where as a trainer, you can talk to your clients and be like, okay, well, this one has these type of cattle, this type of setup. You might pick horse A, B, C for it. And the different formats and all of the different stuff is kind of what makes this pretty beneficial to the horse in the seasoning process.
Where's the future of this going?
This?
Your deal.
I don't know. We're not done with this one yet. Yeah, we are having another one next year, and we actually have dates for it. We have moved back to the last weekend of September. Okay. So we're not going to do it Labor Day weekend. We're going to try to move back for the rodeo guys, because that'll be after the regular season's done.
Yeah, you talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, the Wesley Thorpes and Caleb Driggers and those guys wanted to be here really bad. Dakota actually showed a horse for Caleb Driggers. But yeah, he those kind of guys would have been there. But it is fourth quarter in the rodeo world right now, and they cannot miss a rodeo. Every shot counts right now.
I'm surprised Billy Jack made it, because I think he's like 16th right now. But I know he's fixing to head out as soon as this is done. He's going back northwest, and he's taking that mare that he helped on yesterday. Cracked her back out, helped on her, and he's going to go Pendleton and
that's
sneak in there.
The rodeo guys, like a Bill Jack Sabins, he's full time, man. Like he from January all the way to December, he's going somewhere. He's showing horses, AQHA shows, pro rodeos, jackpots. This guy doesn't stop, and then when he's at home, he is training horses very, very hard worker. You know what I'm saying? And then he deals with the very best ropers in the world, and then he deals with the very best show horse guys in the world. So that's a tough deal because, like I said, he's got to deal with Dakota at the shows. You know what I mean? And he's got to deal with the Peyton Brays over there at the pro rodeo. So it's a totally different game. But like I said,
Joseph, since he decided to quit rodeoing,
I'm noticing a lot last few years. The heel horse power is changing a lot in the rodeo game, like 5 years or so. But I'm telling you, like the heel horses are better looking. They got pedigrees, long manes, long tails. They look the part.
Shiny. Like
Beautiful.
they used to be dead-headed,
Yeah.
red-haired.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, me and you are both as guilty of anybody of that. Is like
Telling you.
it was just like, it's the rope horse. Why would we brush it?
Even the head horses will run down there and slide, stop, and kind of look the part now. You know, it's like the game is evolving. And that little boy we talked about, you know, I promise you
Did you
here.
hear about the underground match?
There's an underground match.
I matched an 8-year-old kid.
How'd that go for you?
Caesar matched an 8-year-old.
He got beat, didn't he?
No,
No,
no. We just had to teach him a lesson.
the
I
first
just
one,
tried
right?
to teach him a lesson, like because Clay Cooper never was easy on me at the rodeos. It was always, you know, he
The
had
kid was cool though.
Yeah.
He had no idea. He said, "You know who this guy is? Oh, you know who Johnny Ringo is? Yep."
I promise you, you know, in 10 years when he decides to go make the finals, you know, if his family's out here doing this stuff,
Right.
he will have a very nice horse when he goes to try to make the NFR, you know.
I mean, that's one of the things I think is the most beneficial about this is like you are seeing a lot more people want to get into this side of it and have a lot of pride in the way the horse is trained, and that goes even back to Brandon and his horse. Like he wanted to come because he knew Tanner had done a great job training the horse. Pride, show up, watch him, see if he wins something.
Exactly.
It's a community too, right?
It is a community. And that was,
We came to support him, right? And he got a helper to help him drive. You know, I healed for him over here, and it's like it's just one big community out here. But we go rodeo, and it's just the header and the healer out there, and we're trying to beat everybody else out here. But and you come to these shows, you like
I
say
really enjoyed watching this right there.
Dakota and Billy Jack and Brock Hansen was here helping. Like it is a
Rock's
community.
open lights
We're
out.
all
so
getting
much
along out here. We're talking to everybody. You know what I'm saying?
And it's so much of a community too because it's a judged event, and you're not trying to beat you. Like you're trying to beat yourself when it's all said and done. Like you're just trying to do the
You
best.
guys-
All you're trying to do is show your horse and make your horse
Yeah.
look pretty. That's all you're trying to do.
I
To
really
make your
think
horse
that
look good.
adds to the relaxed environment because I'm not battling you out and trying to knife you out for first place at Puyallup right now. Like everybody's just here and they're going to show their horse the best they can, and where they end up, they end up. It's really not their say; it's the judges. So that's all they can do, and I really do think that helps with the relaxed mentality and the vibe of everyone. Like you said, all the big dogs here, they're just here. They're actually working.
Yeah, they're working.
They're not on the rodeo trail. They're just here having a good day at work. Everybody's happy and
Kind of thankful it's in a climatized building
Yeah,
too, instead of in the heat.
Oh, dude.
no joke.
Yeah, this is awesome. We did press kit about over the 4th of July, and oh man, we cooked.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy when I rolled in here and seen it was cool. So, all right, man. Well, we'll let you get back to it. Thanks for stopping by. And
Thank you
talking.
so much, Bill.
You don't want to tell re-ride stories?
Well, man,
We've
we
known
got
each other a long
we
time.
got plenty of rewrite
We're
stories.
gonna
man.
have those in the outtakes.
Well, I tell you what, me and Billy, we spent like we got to train some horses with Dakota, so we spent morning all the way to night.
Lots of days.
There's been some times where
I would
like we'd save the bad ones for the end. You know what I mean? We'd get a couple drinks in, and we'd kind of have a good time. But by golly, you got 'em right.
I do kind of want to tell a story on this.
Okay, we got
in the
time.
situation here is like, me and Caesar, like before this was a thing, like any of this rope horse stuff is like, I wanted Annie Oakley colts because I wanted to
Little
like,
mare, little mare.
I still, even though this wasn't a thing and people weren't breeding for rope horses, I was for myself. Like I knew there was no value in doing it, but I wanted badass horses, and I knew the best way to do it was breed them. So his dumb ass was in Bell, and like I'd been working a deal with, who was I doing the deal with before? It wasn't Dakota.
Man, it might have been.
No, it was another one of our friends. But long story short, is they were gonna send a mare up to me, and Caesar's like, I want to do that. He's like, I'll send Annie Oakley, and I'm like, okay. But she was also like
okay.
she had like a little bit in navicular, but not bad. And he's like, here's the deal. He was like, I'll send her up there, and he's like, we'll pull embryos out of her, and you can heal on her. And so I healed on her for a couple of years, and got to breed her, and we had a good grand time. We got Bubbles, and he's got his filly out of her. But like, so that's the story I want to tell. Is like, before anyone was thinking about this, we were doing it. Which I mean, there was
That's pretty awesome.
I can't say that there wasn't, like Dixon Flowers has been doing it forever. Bobby Lewis has been doing it forever. There's a pretty good amount of people that have been doing it forever, but we were under the table dicking around with it.
I'll be riding some.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
So that, like I said, talked about Bill Jack, how the big starting to come and show, and they're actually starting to win. So it's pretty neat that it's a proven horse, and now the baby's a proven horse. This is a really good. This is a proven ground right here.
The maternal line too, like Yes I'm Sassy that Dakota's been doing good on. That would be the same mom as the horse I leased to you that one summer. So Young Money or Irish Colors, you rode her at the rodeos over the fort. Her half sister maternally just won 3,500 yesterday at Futurity, and she won 28,000 I think at the Royal Crown. Like, so you're getting to see like these proven mare lineages start to show up.
Is it cool for you just to see that? Like, man, this is an idea I had, and you're like, I know that one's mom. I know that one's, oh yeah.
You guys sound like the racehorse guys. When you sit around with racehorse guys.
We were at the Chicken Shack last night, and we were literally talking about mares and studs with a group of team ropers, and like, oh yeah, this mare, and I'm like, this would not have been happening.
Never. 15 years ago, that would never happen.
I remember, like, I mean, it would never happen. Like, and everyone's like, oh yeah, it's like being at a barrel Futurity, but it's ropers, and it's just that we're talking about lineages, and I'm like, this is weird.
Really weird.
This is weird. Yeah, I think it's super cool to start. And look, the coolest thing, and I'm going to give like Chelsea a lot of credit for this, is she is covering the bloodlines. But like, so people, the name recognition is such a big part of that.
She's
like,
keeping track of all that, right? She explained that to us when she came on. She's keeping track of all of that stuff. Yeah, that lady does not get enough credit for what she does for this entire game.
And so it goes back to, so like you said, 10 years, we wanted this to happen 10 years ago. We nerded out over this. Like, why won't these people pay for these rope horses? Because they're eligible for more money than any barrel horse, racing horse, anything in the world. Attention to breeding, and you couldn't get pay them more than $6,500, even though you could win that in a weekend.
Yeah, it's pretty wild in Futurity. Them barrel horse Futurities they have in Buckeye.
Yeah.
They show up deep. This is,
That's
in
right.
my opinion,
I'm hoping that's where it gets to be.
it will.
And
I think it will.
I think that this, every first year event, like, you can't have ego. You have to understand that you're still the new kid on the block, and you're gonna have to perform and
Pay your dues.
Yeah, well, I mean, not even pay your dues. You're gonna have to prove to them that you can run your mouth all you want. The proof's in the pudding when they show up, and it's done.
Yeah.
And
I
can say, oh, this is gonna be awesome, like I did to everyone. But I mean, when it's all said and done, when they show up and see it, that's the difference. And like, it just takes a year. I know, like, I went to the American Rope Horse Futurity Finals the first year. They didn't have that many, but guess what? It grew every year because the reputation and the work got out. So I came into this pretty realistic, and honestly, we ended up with 39 in the heading and 52 in the kneeling. I mean, for a first year event, $1,000 fees and the side pots, I don't think we can complain about.
Works
that.
pretty good.
Yeah.
All
Sure.
right, well, we're pretty excited to see next year's event.
Oh, we're
We'd
ready.
love to be part of it.
Oh, absolutely. You're
All
in.
right. Thanks for coming and seeing us.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank you, Bill.
it. Yep.